that much alone, to me, means that I think you probably should just play these cards if you have them and you are already in the color. You're not losing a lot of value. Paying 1 life to turn on a color is not a big investment, and as far as I'm concerned, I think if you're like, oh, I'm in white, well, I can either take this. I'm in white blue, and I can either take this bad black common, or I can take this white I can take this white desert. You take the desert. It's good. Just take it. But as far as priority is concerned, they do have different abilities, so it is worth noting. So this is the green one. So this one is 1 green green, tap, sack a desert, target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. Activate this one, you can activate a sorcery. So, the fact that this is an instant speed kind of stinks, but +3/+3 is substantial. So 3 mana, +3/+3, and then, either sacrificing this or another desert. I think it's good. It is, a little bit of a mana investment, but I do think it's good. I would give this one, I think this gets a C. I think this is a C. Hostile Desert. This is not part of the cycle. This is a rare desert. Tap to add colors to your mana pool. 2, exile land. Becomes a 3/4 elemental creature until end of turn. It's still land. This card is really interesting to me in constructed purposes, but I don't think this is really limited playable. Maybe it is. It really depends on how many deserts you have. How often are you considering cycling the lands and doing stuff like that? I think the answer to that is not enough to make Hostile Desert worth it. But maybe there's this Desert Matters deck where Hostile Desert is great. That's an exciting thing to think about, but I don't think that exists. So I will just give Hostile Desert a C minus, and I would say look out for it if you are in need of deserts. That's an important thing. Or look out for it if you have a deck with a ton of desert synergy. All right, if near Deadlands, this is far and away the best of this cycle. So this is the black version of the uncommon desert cycle. The activated ability on this one is 2 black, sack a desert, put 2 -1/-1 counters on a creature an opponent controls. So this is a removal spell that doesn't take up a card. It just takes up, a land drop. It's great. I really, really think this is a great card. I think this is a B minus because it will just kill a creature. It's great. It's a land that kills a creature. Yeah, this is a B minus. This is Ipnu Rivulet. This is the blue version of the cycle. For this one, it's 1 in a blue and sack a desert, and you target player mills 4. I'm not in on this one. I think this is the worst in the cycle by this maybe not the worst in the cycle. Maybe the red one's the worst in the cycle, but this is pretty bad. Sure, if you have enough deserts to sacrifice, how many turns you take yeah, I don't know if it's I wouldn't say it's a Z minus. I would say that this is a C minus for sure. Because again, I still think that it's actually good to have these cards in your deck. They are deserts. They count as deserts, and they tap for a color, so that's fine. So I think C minus is reasonable for Ipnu Rivulet, but I don't see myself pulling off a lot of mill in this format. Ramunap Ruins. If Ipnu Rivulet isn't the worst in the cycle, Ramunap Ruins is the worst in the cycle. This one is 2 red to deal 2 to each opponent. I mean, I think this is just the same. It's just the same where it's just hey, this counts as a desert, taps for red. I guess I can get some upside off of it. I'll give it a C minus. All right, Scavenger Grounds. This is a rare desert, tap, add colorless, and 2 sack it, exile all cards from all graveyards. I guess this is no, this is a constructed playable card. Again, I'll say this for this and all the other deserts that tap for colorless is if you need deserts, put a desert in your deck. If you have a lot of those Flame Tongue Kavu guys, the 3/3 for 4 that kills a thing when it enters the battlefield, then yeah, put Scavenger Grounds in your deck. But I don't really think there's a lot of value into trying to exile all cards from graveyards unlimited. I do think that's a strong ability, but I think ultimately Scavenger Grounds is probably something like a D. Shafet Dunes. This is the white one of the cycle. I think that completes the cycle. This one is 2 white, sack desert. Creatures you control get +1/+1 is allowed to turn. I think this one is very strong, actually. I think that's a very powerful ability. And I think any white deck is going to be happy to have a big pump spell on hand that just takes up a land spot. So, sacrifice Scavenger Ground so you can sacrifice the Aping Rivulet with it. Yep. Yeah, that's a combo. But I think this one is actually quite good. I would give this one a C+. Alright. Survivor's Encampment. This is a desert. It's common. Tap to add colors to your mana pool. And then tap an untapped creature you control. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So, this is better than Painted Bluffs. I'll give it that. I mean, I actually kind of like this one. I think this does fix your mana better than like a lot of other cards do. I'm more in on using a creature than using extra mana to cast a spell. I think I'd give this. I think I'd give this a C, maybe a C-, but probably, yeah, C-. C-, I think is fair. And basics. All right, we made it. The basics are very pretty. I like them a lot. All right, I reviewed every card in the set. So I'm going to compile this, and then when I watch other people's reviews, I will go through my list and say I disagree, or I guess I'm wrong about that. But this was a fun exercise for myself. I'm glad to have a full art lands are nice. I'm glad to have a record of this, and for those of you that came in and watched this, or maybe watching this on the VOD, I hope you enjoyed the program. I will be back streaming some Magic Online and Hearthstone at some point in the near future. Remember to follow me at Prized Amalgam on Twitter. Follow the Powerful Boys at Powerful Boys Podcast on Twitter. Follow Julian at Party Rocktic on Twitter. Listen to the Powerful Boys Podcast weekly on SoundCloud and iTunes. Yep, thanks for coming.